know she's looking at you.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is part 2 to my video that I did last week, which was all about the Disney College Programme, the Disney Cultural Exchange Programme, the Disney Cultural Representative Programme, basically answering your guys' questions on the whole process and just kind of like questions that you don't really know about until you're actually experiencing it, living there, working there. So I'm here to answer all of your questions. So I put out a poll type thing on Instagram. I got a couple of questions and I'm just going to basically like fire through those just like I did last week. If you haven't seen that video, I will leave it linked down below. I also have my Disney playlist from while I was out there and the whole process and what I packed and the experience. So again, I will leave that link down below so that you guys can go and find that. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get straight onto this video. Okay, so one question I got in particular was how much was the accommodation? So the accommodation, you live at Flamingo Crossings, especially if you are on the Cultural Exchange Programme, you don't get the choice, you have to live at Flamingo Crossings. I think that's kind of the same for Cultural Representative Programmes as well. I know that's not the case for the Disney College Programme because that is US participants. But I think if you are coming from any other country, you do have to live on their campus, which is Flamingo Crossings. Now, this campus is completely safe. It is for Disney participants only. They advertise it on their website that it is for, like you can rent it out and things like that. However, everybody that I was there with was on a Disney programme. Like nobody was there that wasn't, and it's got like security. It's got gated, like you've got to scan to get in and things like that. So yeah. I went completely off topic and I kind of do that a lot, so I apologise. But yeah, I just kind of want to like reiterate that Flamingo Crossings is a safe place to live. Like I felt very safe anyways. So there's 3 options when you actually go out there, and these prices change every year, so just keep that in mind because it might go up by the time you go or it might go down. But yeah, so basically I stayed in an accommodation where it was 2 people share a bedroom, 2 people share 1 bathroom, 4 people share the communal kitchen and living area. So when me and Megan first moved in, me and Megan were split. So you have, the best way to describe this is you have your kitchen diner area and then it splits off with 2 doors. So you have your bathrooms, so there's 2 bathrooms in 1 apartment and there was 2 bedrooms, but you have a divider in between your beds. I picked this one because it was the cheapest. It was $185 a week. Which sounds a lot, but it covers every bill. You literally just pay $185 and that's it. So yeah, so I paid that, and I picked that just because it was the most convenient, it was the cheapest. Looking back now, and now experiencing that, I would always say to people, especially if this is the first time going away from home, I would recommend doing the next one up, which is you have your own bedroom but you share a bathroom and living space. So it's the same kind of thing. You have your communal bit where you have your kitchen and your living area. You split off into the bathroom, but then it has 2 bedrooms. So the whole complex of apartment has 4 bedrooms. Now this was $205 a week, which is only like $20 more, so it's not that bad. And I wish I'd have gone for that. I just thought in the long run that I would make more money. However, money like doesn't really last when you're on your programme. You can't just spend it. So yeah, I would always recommend that one just for the having your own space. If you want to cry because you're missing home, if you want to FaceTime people, if you want to watch TV till stupid o'clock at night, you can basically. Now I only had a roommate for 2 weeks. I was sharing with an American girl called Emma. She was lovely. She was so nice and I never had any issues, but I know a couple of my friends did. They had issues with their roommates, and because you're on the cultural exchange or the cultural representative, you will not get put with your choice. Like, so me and Megan chose that we wanted to be together and we requested that through Disney. You can do that through the portal when you're applying, and like when you've accepted your role and everything like that, they kind of give you the option to like link up with a buddy. They do try and honour it. I know a couple of people who did get put with their choice and they were in a bedroom together. But me and Megan didn't. We got split. So we were still in the same apartment complex, but we were split and had American roommates because you're on a cultural exchange programme. Like, they want you to be cultural. Which makes sense. We got really lucky. After Emma and Sarah, which were our American roommates, left, we never got any more roommates. So the whole rest of the time we basically paid $185 for what we should have been paying $205 for. So I will say that you can take that risk, but nobody else I know got that opportunity. It was just that we kind of felt lucky that nobody else came on our programme during that time. Then Megan got COVID, so they had to wait 10 days to even move anyone in after she was out of isolation. Then I got COVID, so they had to wait 10 days after that. And then it was 2 weeks till we moved out anyways, so they knew that they could deep clean the apartment after like Sarah and Emma had been in it, and then me and Meg, because that would have been like a year and a half without anybody going in and like deep cleaning it. It was just us. So yeah, I think they just kind of like left us to it. You can request to switch and things like that. It does cost money. If you get put in West Campus, I know a lot of people like to live in East. I was living in East. And it costs a lot of money to move yourself back over to East if you want that. So yeah, I think definitely just straight off the bat, if you want the like space, if you want if you want to be a bit more private, then go for the like own room but shared bathroom. I mean, there is the other option, which is share your own room and your own bathroom, but I believe this is $225, or it was when I was there, so it seems like it goes up in 20s. But obviously compared, that's like $40 to what I was paying more a week, which obviously is like $160 extra a month, which when you're only there for 3 months is quite a lot. So I think it just depends on what you want to do and what your budget looks like when you're going out there. Keeping on the topic of accommodation, I had a question all about the flats being, are they all of one gender or are they mixed sex? So I'll be honest, everybody that I knew was in same-sex apartments. I specifically preferenced that I wanted to be in an apartment with just girls because that was what I felt comfortable with. Obviously the fact that I was sharing a bedroom with this person, but yeah, I think you can kind of specify, but also, like I say, I didn't hear of anybody sharing with people of the other opposite gender. I didn't hear of anybody doing that. Another question I got about housing was, were the parties loud? And were there a lot of parties? Now, I'll be honest, they do kind of have rules, so they will say like after, I think it's after 12 or after 11, you're not allowed to make a lot of noise. Now, personally, I didn't hear anybody having parties. I never heard anybody. The only thing I heard was like people moving furniture at like 2 AM above me, which never bothered me because I just got in from work, so I was just winding down anyway or getting a shower. Whereas Meg, who had been asleep since like 10, woke up to people moving furniture and she's like, what's going on? You can ring to complain to front desk. Front desk can go and then give them a noise complaint. Nothing really happens off the bat of that. Like, I think if they get a certain amount, they can be at risk of being evicted. So yeah, I never heard any parties. I will be honest, I had a couple of gatherings in my time, but I never got a noise complaint, and I always was out by 11, so I kind of stuck to the rules anyway. But yeah, I never heard anything drastic, and I don't think any of my friends did. I don't think I ever heard of anybody, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I ever heard anybody complain about a noise complaint or anything like that. Okay, I'm trying to keep these like topic based, so I'm going to go on to now like the transport whilst you're out there. So Flamingo Crossings is actually quite good for the transport that they provide, especially if you're working in a park. If you're working in a resort, it's a little bit more hit and miss because the buses have to go to like multiple resorts and it's quite lengthy. But 9 times out of 10, if you're in a park, you've got quite an easy bus route. The only one that didn't really have an easy bus route was Animal Kingdom, but that's because it stopped off at some resorts beforehand. So basically what happens with transport is there is a bus loop, regardless of whether you're in East Campus or West Campus. When you come out of the gates where you scan in and out from the main like hub, you come out and there is a bus loop. The bus loop and the car park are like next to each other. The bus loop is only for buses, for cast member buses. There is no buses that come in there that you would not like be able to get on, apart from buses that are taking you on like day trips, which they register you for, so like you don't have to worry about that. But they have specific pickups. So when you first move into Flamingo, you will be sent like a bus transport thing, and it can be either an app. I think it was called Passio Go, I'm sure it was called that, and it basically has all the bus routes on there. You will be told your bus route, so I was bus route A for Magic Kingdom, and what that means is when I went on Passio Go, I literally just ticked A that was my bus route, and it tells you every single time that that picks up from east. It also tells you when it picks up from west. It tells you when it goes to Ticket and Transportation Centre and when it goes to the Magic Kingdom bus loop, because there is then a second bus that you have to get on if you work in Magic Kingdom. It's dead easy to use. The transport seems really bizarre when you first get out there. It's like a whoa, like there is so many buses, like stops and things like that, and there's like, so bus route A only went to Magic Kingdom, but there might have been like another bus that stops in that bay, so you've got to make sure that you check what bus you're getting on. So like it'll say route K or route A or route B, so don't get on like a bus that doesn't say your route. That is the only thing I can say. But apart from that, like the buses are really easy. The buses are free. You get them included because you're paying rent to Flamingo Crossing, so the buses are entirely free, which is great for UK citizens or citizens from other countries, because obviously we haven't got a car, so you don't have to do anything like with that, and you are allowed to use those buses when it's your days off. So they do recommend that like the Magic Kingdom, the Epcot, the Animal Kingdom and the Hollywood Studios buses are kept like separate for cast members who are working. However, they will not penalise you for getting on a bus that's going to Magic Kingdom on your day off. The only reason that they say prioritise it for cast members is because cast members have to get to work. So if that bus is full and you're getting on there and taking a cast member's spot who's working, that's kind of unfair. So what I would tend to do usually was get the bus to a resort, and then from the resort the buses are free anyways for anybody, so you then can get on one of those buses and take you straight to the parks. So yeah, that is the only thing they kind of say. However, if I was going to Magic Kingdom, I'd get on the Magic Kingdom bus most of the time. There is also a bus that runs to Target, so you can get to a Target, and then there is on certain days of the week, most of the time it's on your move-in day, there is, and it won't change the whole time, so say it's a Thursday that you move in, Monday is usually the day you will move in, so on a Monday, and I believe it's a Tuesday, there is a bus that will take you to Super Target, that will take you, and in that complex where Super Target is, there is a dollar store, there is like Ulta, there's everything there that you could need. And you basically can go and shop there. They also have near West Campus, which is a walk from East Campus, like you can walk to it. I don't mean like it's a walk as in like it'll take you hours, it's like easy to walk to. They actually have like a Flamingo campus, which is where it wasn't fully built when I was there, but there's a mini Target, there is a Dunkin' Donuts, I want to say. There is going to be like, I think it might be built by now, I'm not 100% sure, but there is loads of things there. And that rest of the week it goes to that Target, the bus that goes to the Super Target on like Monday, Tuesdays. The rest of, I don't think I'm explaining this very well. So like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it will go to the other Target. So there is always a bus that will take you to some form of Target. The timings of the coaches and things like that, timings of the buses and things like that, like I say, all at the app called Passio Go, but all the way through your traditions, all the way through your trainings, things like that, you'll get told all this, and you'll get, and if you can't have any of these apps on your phone, which I don't know why you wouldn't be able to, but say there was an error or something like that, they have it like, there's near the bus loop, they have like not an interactive board, but like a screen, and it has all up-to-date info of the bus times. So there is a bus timetable, that's what I meant. One question that I did get about the buses is, are they reliable? Now I'm gonna be honest, 99.9% of the time my buses that I needed to get on were reliable. 0.01% of the time they sometimes weren't. The only time I found this, and I will be straight up and you need to be careful of this, is if you are staying at Magic Kingdom till close and you miss all the buses out to other resorts, things like that, and you've missed all the cast buses, the only one that's left is the cast bus that will pick you up from Ticket and Transportation Centre. Just be careful. You get out to Ticket and Transportation Centre, there's like the safety people and stuff like that. I don't mean it in that sense, but a lot of cast members from Magic Kingdom will finish when close happens. If this bus is full of cast members who have finished their shift, it will not stop at Ticket and Transportation Centre, which then means you could be waiting up to like 2 hours for a free bus until there is a bus that is free. And if that's the case, then it's easier to get an Uber home. You are in Disney Complex when you stay at Flamingo. You are, I think you're just on the outskirts of it. You have to go like under the welcome home sign. But apart from that, like, your Uber would cost you like $20, not even $20 I don't think, I think it was like $10. So yeah, so that is the only thing I say be wary of, because that happened a couple of times while I was in Magic Kingdom. But yeah, that's obviously, the buses do say they prioritise cast members and that are working, and they do. Keeping like with the topic, I was asked how often did I need to go grocery shopping. Now, if you are planning to actually cook meals for yourself, I would say probably once a week. I went once a week, but I really didn't cook for myself. I ate out a lot. I got a lot of takeaways. I spent a lot of my Disney money on food, and even like I'd go to like a resort and just get something cheap because you got your discount on food, and eat that way, which is not really that healthy, but I did that anyway. I mean, like, Art of Animation's food is to die for. It is delicious, and when I had that 50% off, you know that I was going to Art of Animation for food. So yeah, I went grocery shopping. I went to Target probably about once a week, and I just kind of went, like, it does take a little bit longer because you have to get the buses. If you have roommates that drive, I definitely would say make friends with them, because they can take you to the grocery store if they're going to the grocery store on the same day as you, and they can drive, they can take you, and it just saves a bit of time. When I went on the buses, I used to leave like a full morning or like a full mid-afternoon to do it. So the bus only takes around 5 minutes to get to the Target, 10-15 minutes at a push. So I would get on the bus, keep in the 10 to 15 minutes thing, and then you have to shop, and then you have to wait for the bus back, because the buses are like every hour, every half hour. So if you just miss the bus, you would have to wait another like half an hour until the next one came. So yeah, I just think as long as you kind of like schedule it in, you should be fine. And I literally went and bought like pasta. Like, I lived off pasta and cheese and pasta and tomato sauce like the whole time I was there, because Target's not cheap. Target is one of those supermarkets or grocery stores or whatever that you think might be cheap, and it's just not. So like, I brought like Pop-Tarts, cereal bars, things that I could snack on throughout the day. And then when I was on shift, I would either take something with me, like the pasta that I'd made, or I would just buy the food that like when I was on shift, because they do have like cafeterias, like mouse cafeterias and things like that for you to eat in. In most locations anyways, from my experience, not all. When I worked in Hollywood Studios, that wasn't the case. I couldn't find anywhere that I could get food, but that was just, I didn't know that location very well. So yeah, that's the only reason that was how that was. Any tips on surviving the heat for Florida newbies? Now, I will be honest, the heat is hard. The summer months are so hard to work as a cast member. I think you've got to get lucky with your location, I'll be honest with that. I worked in the Emporium where it was air-conned, and the only time you had to go outside is if you were walking to the bus or walking to work or anything like that. Like, I was in aircon majority of the time. So I was kind of okay. I know a couple of people who worked in like quick service food and bev who were outside on like carts. There's no aircon, there's a little fan if that, but they are safety roles where your leaders and your coordinators should be taking care of you. Like, if you're dehydrated, things like that, they will look after you. The one thing I will say is when you're going for a park day anyways, that always stay hydrated. Always have a water bottle with you. Always keep refilling. If you go to any quick service place and say, can I have this filled up with water, they will fill it up, and that is safe enough for you to drink. I wouldn't recommend drinking from the little water fountains in the park, but that's my personal preference. People do it, and I know that they do it, and it's not an issue. It's just my personal preference. I'd just say definitely keep hydrated. Cooling towels are absolutely fantastic, but you got to keep them cool. Like, you got to keep them wet, or they're just pointless. And buy them like before you go, or like buy them from Walmart because they're expensive in the parks. Also beware for the humidity. My hair did not deal very well with the like humidity from Florida, so I just always had my hair like back or in a plait or with a hair mask in or things like that, and I use heat protection every day, things like that. Really, I think you will be fine. You do get used to it, believe it or not. And obviously just wear a lot of SPF, and yeah, that is pretty much it. I mean, on the way to work sometimes, so I used to obviously wear a very long skirt and a blouse. If you've seen my videos, you will know what I was wearing as a cast member. So I would wear the blouse but I would then wear biker shorts underneath, so I would literally walk to the bus stop in my trainers, biker shorts and a blouse. Nobody bats an eyelid because everybody knows it's hot. Everybody knows that it is like crazy heat for UK people, especially because it is never warm here, and they know that you're gonna look a bit crazy walking to work. People get changed when they get to work, so you could literally wear like a tank top and little shorts to get you to work. Like, you wear whatever is comfortable, and then once you get to work, get changed. Everywhere in your location is more or less, if you're inside anyways, is more or less air-conned. So yeah, I was pretty much okay, and like I say, park days is just gotta keep getting used to it. Go in the stores, get a bit of a like breeze from the stores, walk around with a fan if you want. Don't buy the fans from the parks, they have so much money for no reason. Speaking of the parks and stuff like that, how do park passes, Lightning Lane, PhotoPass, etc. work as cast members? Park passes, you get a park pass, you get a main entrance pass. For being a cast member, I've spoke about that in the last video of how that works, but you basically just go on to the My Disney Experience app, connect it to your My Disney Experience app, and you can just make park reservations as normal. You can enter the park with that straight away with that card. It doesn't have to be on your My Disney Experience, but I recommend everybody to get My Disney Experience. It's just easier. But yeah, Lightning Lane is just as it would be for a guest. You have to pay for it. There is no discount on Lightning Lane. You do have to pay for Lightning Lane if you want to use it. I wouldn't really pay for Lightning Lanes being a cast member because you're there for a long period of time anyway. Unless it's like you want to ride Guardians more than once in a day type thing. PhotoPass, you do not get PhotoPass. You can buy PhotoPass. And I know a couple of people who did this. They like split the cost with their friends, and they all like bought into the PhotoPass for like a 2-week period or a month period, or I can't remember how long it was for, and they just split the cost and shared the pictures with each other because obviously they come onto your My Disney Experience app. I didn't do this personally. I just didn't feel the need. I just took all my own photos, and you can go up to cast members who are photographers and ask them to take your pictures for you. You can go up to cast members anywhere and ask them if they can take a photo of you. As long as they're not in a safety critical role, they can take a picture of you. Or they've not got a responsibility at that moment, they will happily take pictures for you. So yeah, I wasn't bothered about it, but some people are, and I think like obviously do it with your friends so it's cheaper. And yeah, you do have to do the same thing as like what guests currently have to do. You have to have a park reservation. As a cast member, you can only make 3 park reservations at one time. So what I tended to do was book 2 for my days off, so book like Magic Kingdom for Thursday, Epcot for Friday. But then I would also just see how I went throughout the week. So say I knew that I was starting at 5-6 p.m. on Wednesday, I'd book a park for that day and then go to that park and then like go to work after. I think it just depends, but yeah, so you are only allowed to book 3 parks at a time. Okay, I did get a question which is completely irrelevant to like most of the questions that I've been answering, like they've been about like housing and stuff like that. This question was linked to whether or not a BA honours degree would be eligible if you are not in uni. Now I'm going to be honest, I don't know. My course was a full-time course, but I went in 1 day a week, and it was only classed as full-time because of the hours that I was putting into the course, and that it was a 1-year course that could have been split over 2 years, but it was all forced into 1 year, so it was classed as full-time. I got accepted. I think I had to get a uni to sign to say that I could do the programme, so I think that is the only bit that you'd struggle. But I will say that there's other options, like you can do the CRP without any sort of uni. Like, you don't have to be a student, but you will be working in the pavilion that matches your home, like your country. And obviously if you're working in merchandise, you can switch locations and stuff, that's not an issue. But if you're working in like quick service food and bev, like Rose and Crown in Epcot, you can't move locations, I don't think. So yeah, I think I would check. I would speak to somebody either from Yumi Jobs or from Disney if you're thinking about applying for the CEP, but nothing is stopping you from the CRP, which is back now. So another like nice question that I got asked was, how was it to make friends before flying and once you got there? Now, if you are applying for the CEP, the CRP, go straight on Facebook and look for a group that is made called Disney Cultural Exchange Programme 2023 or 2024 or whatever year it is you are applying. Now, I literally went straight on, as soon as I had applied and sent my application in, I went straight onto like Facebook and found a group which Megan had actually made literally like 2 or 3 days before I'd sent my application in, and she'd made this group. There was about 10 people in it, if that, and I joined the group, and she put on the chat, on the Facebook page, shall I make a group chat? She made the group chat, and over the course of like 2 months, 3 months, loads of people were in this group chat, loads of people were on the page. You get chatting to people, you get to know people's interests. We did like a fun thing, which was like, you introduce yourself on the Facebook page, not in the group chat, but on the page, and it was like, you stated your interest, you put a few pictures on of yourself, you said what your roles that you'd like to do would be, kind of like what you'd be like as an ideal housemate, and that kind of gives you people who want to get to know you, want to be interested in you. And then from that like group chat, we kind of branched off into like, when we found out our like roles, so we had like a merchandise group chat, I know attractions had a group chat, and things like that. And then again, when we found out that we were Emporium, we had an Emporium group chat. So that's kind of how I made my friends. I had a question on what things you need to bring and don't need to bring with you. I have a whole video of a packing video of what I took to Orlando with me. I definitely think you need to take warm clothes majority of the time. Do take a couple of bits in case it rains, but even the rain over there is hot. If you're going on the CRP, you're probably going to need like a jacket and maybe a pair of jeans or joggers, just for like when it's a bit windier in like the winter months. But again, apart from that, it's normally quite a humid climate. You obviously need bikinis, towels. I would suggest taking toiletries, but again, you're going to be there for like 3 months, 4 months, so you can just buy them from Target. Don't take bedding. A lot of people took bedding, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't fit the bedding that's over there. So like, say you take a quilt cover, so like a duvet cover, it is not going to fit the duvets that are over there, so I didn't. The only thing I took was a blanket, and I'm glad I did, because I didn't buy a duvet because I'm quite like a warm person. So I literally I went to Target and bought a sheet, and I bought a pillow and a pillow cover, and then I used my blanket, and I was absolutely fine in shorts and a little vest every night. So yeah, I think it just depends on that. I didn't take anything like cutlery or anything like that. Your apartment comes equipped with that. We didn't even take like, I know Megan took a baking tray and things like that. You can take those things, but they are available in the dollar store. I'm trying to think what else I took. I obviously took like, one thing I will say that I always take whenever I go travelling anywhere is a big, what are they called? Like, the thing that's got loads of plugs in it. What is it called? Extension cables. Extension cables. I took one of those, and that was the only thing that I used like the entire time I was there, because I could just like charge everything through that. It was easy, and I just took one portable thingy charger that plugs in the wall. My god, I'm going delusional. Yeah, I just think, oh, you also need to bring clothes for tradition, and you need shoes for work. But again, you can buy them when you're out there. So I brought 2 dresses for traditions and for training. Just like kind of knee length, not really, and nothing with like your cleavage out. I know some girls that did go with stuff like that. I know girls that went in denim shorts to traditions. You do you. Like, they said smart casual, and I did literally like a little pair of sandals with a black dress, or like my leopard print dress. You'll have probably seen the footage, and that's, yeah, as long as you've got stuff for that. And then work wise, you can just go and buy a pair of Skechers from the outlets, and you actually can, a lot of the stores in the outlets, if you show that you're a cast member, they give you discounts, so that's also a good thing to be aware of. I got this question a lot. It said, what's something you'd have done differently knowing what you know now? Apart from, like I spoke about earlier in this video about the accommodation, in terms of having my own accommodation, even though that worked out in the best for me, I don't really think I'd do much differently, I'll be honest. The only thing I would say is probably spending a bit more time going to the parks and things like that. And I then look into that and I think, well, I did everything that I wanted to do on my bucket list. I rode near enough every single ride across the parks. Like, I did everything that I wanted to do. So I can't penalise myself for that. I mean, there's a couple of resorts that I didn't check out that I would have liked to, but again, majority of those I did. So yeah, I think as long as you go out there with the mindset of, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, and make a bucket list, you should be fine, and prioritise them. I think the thing for me was I worked late nights, so it was very difficult to get up for mornings. So like I didn't witness any morning shows. I didn't really watch any shows, I'll be honest. Like all the shows in Hollywood studios I didn't watch, like Beauty and the Beast and things like that. But yeah, apart from that, like there's not really anything that I would probably do differently. I'll be honest, like everything I enjoyed. The only thing I will say is I would have liked to work all 4 parts, which I didn't do, but that wasn't really my fault. And the only other thing I would say is not working at World of Disney. Now, if that's your home location, I think it's fine because you get trained up to do that. I just wanted to say that I'd worked in the biggest Disney store in the world, but I hated the experience. I think it's hard because your home location, you get trained up for that location. So they tell you how it works, because like you use a machine called CDS, and that is how you get your tasks. So it might say go to till 1A until you get like handed another note from CDS. So like, yeah, apart from like going to other locations and not liking them, so maybe not going to those locations, I mean, I'm glad I did them though. I'm glad I got the experience in them. But I just loved my home location so much that I just did not want to like leave it. I don't know why I ever worked at other locations. Pardon me, other locations, because I actually loved the Emporium. But then on the other hand of that, I know like some girls who literally like every location that they could, they did. I mean, I worked in Fantasyland and I loved that. But again, you kind of just, you're not left in the dark, but because that's not your home location, the coordinators know that, but their job is to make sure the shift runs smoothly. So they're not going to be there hand and foot to tell you what you need to do. They're there to answer your questions, do not get me wrong. So like when I worked in Hollywood Studios and I was like, where's Mickey Treasures? They were like, it's across the road. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went across the road and worked there for a bit, and like my login wouldn't work, my perna number wouldn't work for their till, so they had to change that for me and things like that. And like things I found stressful was like in World of Disney, it was like go to this stock room, and I was like what? And then they were like go and put this out on the floor, and I was like I don't know where that goes. But you just have to ask for help. If you are able to ask for help, you'll be fine. And I would never say that let that put you off picking up other locations, because I think you could either have one way or the other experience. Like I say, I loved Fantasyland, and yeah, but I was a home bird. I loved the Emporium. Well, this kind of ties into one, so I'm going to answer this as the final question. So somebody asked, did you find all your money just went back into Disney? Like you didn't make any profit, you didn't make any savings. And somebody also asked, everything costs, like what did everything cost? If that question kind of means like what did everything cost before I went, I did a whole video on that, which is in my Disney programs like playlist. If you mean while I was out there, like I said, broke down apartment costs and things like that, so hopefully that's helped. But in terms of did my money all go back into Disney, I'm just going to be honest with you, yeah. It did, and it didn't have to. I could have been way more like money savvy while I was out there, but I just didn't want to. I knew that all the money that I was earning from Disney was money to spend being in Disney, and I wanted 110% out of my experience. I did not want to go home with any regrets. So if my friends were booking a breakfast and I had the money to go, I was going. If I got paid on the Thursday and by Friday I had none of it left, but I brought my groceries, then that was fine. Like, and the wages are not bad. Like, they're genuinely not that bad. I think I roughly earned around $400 a week, like take home after everything was taken out, which was fine. It was more than enough to live on. Some weeks I only got 200, some weeks I'd get like 600. I know a lot of my friends went home with money because they saved it. Megan was really smart with her money. She took money out of the ATMs every time that she got paid, so she had savings. I just didn't live like that, and I don't live like that, and I should probably live like that, but I just didn't. And I bought a lot of merch, and I bought a lot of things for family, and yeah, I just kind of took advantage of the fact that I had all this money and I had discount at Disney. So yeah, and like I say, I never ate in. Like, I never ate at home. I don't think I cooked apart from pasta the entire time I was there. So yeah, it did all go back into Disney, but do I regret it? Absolutely not. So yeah, I think if you want to be money savvy, you definitely can be, but if you want to spend your money on Disney merch, nobody's going to stop you, and nobody's blaming you. It's absolutely fine. But yeah, that is every single question that was sent to me off Instagram. So I hope this has been beneficial. I hope you've enjoyed these past 2 videos, because I feel like I have just rambled at every question, and I hope I have given enough straightforward answers, because I know I like to go off on a tangent. But yeah, I really hope you have enjoyed these videos. I'm sorry that I've just been slouched on my settee. I just wanted to get comfy. But yeah, I really hope you did enjoy. If you would like any more of these types of videos, explaining any more of the Disney programs or anything just in general, please let me know in the comments. If you have any more questions that you don't want to be answered in a video, please just DM me on Instagram, or leave a comment in the question. Can tell I've been talking for too long. I'll leave a question in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. We are getting very, very close to 1,000 subscribers. It has taken me like 7 years to even get to this point, so I'm super, super grateful. But if we could get to 1,000 subscribers, that would be amazing, and I would love to do a giveaway, maybe Disney inspired, if we hit that. So yeah, definitely subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next week for a brand new video. Bye!